But and the reason to have this, right, is that, you know, you'll go to grab and you'll end up with a slightly different grab. You know, or they'll react a little bit and need a slightly different technique. Some of it also is just like what your inclination is, right? I probably would do sok sao before I would do anything else, right? Then probably arm drag, then finally this one, right? It's why the difference between being like a fighter and being a teacher. When you're a fighter, right, you don't need like the 10 or 15 things that work for you, right? When you're a teacher, you got to have like 300 things because you got 12 different students and they're all going to want 15 different things. So, when I get here, now, in Shuai Jiao, there's always been, like I said, friendly nuts and friendly income. And particularly in our line, where I started off by saying that, you know, we got to think always about the central wushu, you know, and how they took traditional martial arts and they wanted to use it specifically, not just for making the pelvic healthy, but for police and military use. And so Shen Gong Sheng took sort of traditional Shuai Jiao and made it more like a combat Shuai Jiao because they wanted to train the police and the military, and especially once the war with Japan broke out. So, you have elbow lock. So, you know, in the form, now it could be uppercuts, right? So long we have two getting out, right? And most people interpret that as uppercut. But it can also be this thing, which is, right? I'm coming right, not at his elbow, but right behind his elbow. And I'm flexing my arm, which pulls it in. And at the same time, I'm pushing out. Obviously, you can see why I'm not doing this. You all right? Yeah. You know, we do that form. And Dragon has stuff like this too. If you see Dragon, it's all the same stuff basically. I'm not a big fan of differentiating systems. Chinese martial arts are Chinese martial arts. It's more common. There's a difference. It's just the difference between like a short energy and a long energy, between a quote internal and a quote external. It's kind of like the tools on a construction site. If you show up at a construction site and you say to them, what's better, a hammer or a screwdriver? They would look at you like you're crazy. Better for what? So, this obviously can break it off, right? Which is why also there's a term called arm framing, which is more like an arm drag. Because I'm coming up here, I'm not going to break anything, right? So in other words, on this side, I have elbow locking, and there's a separate term called arm framing, right? Because we use this with a T, which is the sweep, as a sweep, right? I can do it here, right? And this gives you an opportunity to save your arm. You can dive over and fall rather than have your arm broken. And this means that even if you're stupid, I can throw you without breaking your arm. We're going to work the elbow off, all right? But you got to be nice about it, obviously. So, you have two options. Let's do this separate. I can come here and do this. Notice I didn't have this part up, right? I went here and I went. So you get used to that part of the arm. Then you do this. So I go here and do this. Do not do the two together. Because if you do, something is going to go snap and the day is going to go rather quickly. So, here. I can do this. Or I can do this. Now, what I do, right? Then, as you know, at a certain point, you want to feel what it's like to have the wrist and be right behind. Okay? See that? That's really what you want to get more than. Remember I told you about the protection partner protocol? If you really want this to work, all you have to do is get to that point where, see when he came up on his balls to his feet? At that point when I sweep it, he'll fall, right? When I get you up on the balls of your feet, if I went full speed, you fall. If you get to this, that's all you need. And certainly don't break the elbow to the point. Okay, so you can do it off of mirror hand, or you can do it off of just the. Either way, there's either grip that we were getting. As long as you have the arm, you can be doing it off a grab, right? Grab. Noise also. Yes. I know you never heard that before, right? Right? I'm coming not at his elbow, but right behind his elbow. And I'm flexing my arm, which pulls it in. And at the same time, I'm pushing out. Obviously, you can see why I'm not doing this. All right? There. We do a form. This obviously can break an arm. Right? Which is why also there's a term of arm framing, which is more like an arm drag. Because I'm coming up here, I'm not going to break anything. Right? So I'm on this side. I have elbow locking, and there's a separate term called arm framing. Right? Because we use this with a T, which is the sweep, as a sweep. Right? I can do it here. Right? And this gives you an opportunity to save your arm. You can dive over and fall rather than have your arm broken. And this means that even if you're stupid, I can throw you without breaking your arm. If I get you up on the balls of your feet, by the way, full speed, you fall.